Hello, I hope that you are doing great. In this video, basically, we are going to learn how to transform a JSON string into a JSON object that we can manipulate in the browser. Okay, let's move on. Here I am in the initial file, and here basically what we are going to do is to create an HTML. Remember, if you click as the exclamation mark and enter, we are going to create the boilerplate for an HTML file. And then here the first thing that I would like to do is to create an H2 document, is creating an object from a JSON string. Okay. Then we need here a paragraph with an ID of demo. And basically now we are going to introduce here a script. And here basically the first thing that we have to define is the JSON string. Const, this is a JSON string. Basically here name equal John and age equal 30. This is more than enough. Okay, now basically what we are going to do is to transform this string into an object. This is basically to do that is basically we use JSON.parse txt. And finally what we have to do, okay, this is basically conclude the process, but now we want to have access to this information, and we are going to do a couple of things. The first thing is basically I'm going to use this, I'm going to access to this element that we have created, element by ID, and we are going to take the demo, the paragraph that we have created, and there we are going to disclose this information. And then we are going to use inner HTML to take, we are going to access to the object, and the object have a name, and then this is the first thing that we are going to have. And then we are going to concatenate this by using here these symbols, and then now we have object and we have the age. Okay, then if we save this information and now we open this with live server, open with live server, then basically here we have the John and the 30. One very useful tool that we have here is if we click F12, we are going to have access to the console, and this is something very useful. For example, here we can type console log object, and we click enter, and basically here we have the object that we have created, the JavaScript object that is have a name of John and an age of 30. I also can access to this particular information of this object, for example, console log object, and I can access, for example, to the name, and then I have John, and I can have access also to the age, and then I have 30. This is precisely what we have done in this first part, is basically we are accessing to this object. We have the access first to the name and then to the age. Okay, this is a kind of dictionary. What we are going to do now is to create a string, an array. not a kind of a dictionary, but an array, because this is also going to be very useful, because as well we are going to use this in the next video. In the app, basically what we are going to have is to store all the carbon emissions and the carbon kilometers in an array, and we are going to use that array to make some graphs. Okay, then we come back again to this to our HTML file, and here, instead now of having a dictionary, what we are going to create is an array. And here basically we are going to create an array, for example, with 2 elements. The first one is going to be Ford, and the second element is going to be BMW. That's all. Then we are going to transform this string into an object, and here basically now, instead of this, basically given that this is an array, we can access to object 0, and also we can concatenate as well. Here is this, and then we introduce, for example, a comma here, and plus object 1. We save it. Now we go here, go to close this, and we refresh the page, and basically here now we have Ford at BMW. So in the previous case we can open the console, and here we can type console log object, and now basically it's very interesting, because now instead of the dictionary what we have is an array with 2 elements, Ford and BMW. And as in the previous case, we can access to each single element, but now what we have to do, given that this is an array, we have to put in brackets the number of the array that we want to access, as in this case is BMW. We can access also to 0, that is 4. That's all. This is basically what we have done in this part here. Okay, this concludes this video, in which basically what we have done is to transform a JSON string into a JavaScript object, and that we can manipulate and access in the browser. And we have also used the console in the browser to have access to the information that we pass from the browser. Okay, I hope that you have enjoyed the video, and see you in the next video.